are rampant in our village. It seems they are dangerous and fatal. What would be our fate? I told them. The body has to perish one day or the other, whatever may be the precautions you take. So do not be afraid of death. Contemplate on God and take care that the disease do not afflict you. The boys asked me as to which form of God they should contemplate on. They were all very innocent. In those days, this was a very small village with a population of 106. They had no idea as to which form of God they should worship. I told them to light a lamp, place it in the bazaar at 6 o'clock in the evening, and do bhajans. They did, not knowing what bhajans to sing. Then I composed a few bhajans for them. I told them we need not do donning ochre robes and anklets, playing the cymbals in our hands, and getting rid of the evil qualities of anger and desire.
So sorry, Rishi, I think you skipped a few lines. Then I composed a few bhajans for them. I told them not to search for God outside. He is within us.
He is within us. Let us go around the village chanting the name of Ranga, donning ochre robes and anklets, playing the cymbals in our hands, and getting rid of the evil qualities of anger and desire. In those days, after 5 o'clock in the evening, no one dared to go beyond the Sathya Sai temple, because they considered it to be far off from the village and believed that the area beyond the temple limits was haunted. I infused confidence in them, saying that there are no ghosts or devils, and advised them to drive away the diseases of cholera and plague by chanting the name of God. We wore anklets and walked up to the riverbed of Chitravati, playing the cymbals and singing bhajans. It was the divine name that eradicated diseases of cholera and plague for good within a short span of 3 days.
Thank you very much. I think the rest of the paragraph which Brother read was quite simple to understand and follow. But anyway, I will just say a few points or highlight a few points, and then we can open up the lines for some discussion. Okay. So as you can see, the environment which Swami is describing is not that dissimilar to what we are facing today. It is more or less the same. People were fear-stricken, and you can imagine that in those days, in a poor small village of just 106 people, most of them illiterate, they would not know how to deal with an epidemic of cholera or plague. They were worried and scared, and they all stuck to their homes. It was a time when there was no commute available for villagers to go to the nearest town. It would have taken them a few days to get anywhere. So in such a small village, people would have sat at homes without knowing what to do, scared of getting around. And in that environment, Swami, who was just 7 years old, infused confidence in children who are 6 to 8 and went around with them after teaching them some bhajans to eradicate cholera by singing around the village. So I think I will pause here and open the lines for any comments or questions from participants. Please see to it that you keep your comments to a couple of minutes, and please pay attention to the topic at hand. Just comment on the topic which we have placed before you, and if you have any questions related to this passage, you can ask those questions, and then we can have members who are participant at this study circle attempt to give their answers from their points of view. Okay, Sai Ram. Please unmute yourself and speak, and then mute. Okay, I will open the floor for any comments from the members, please. Sai Ram. Sai Ram. If anyone has any questions and you don't want to open and speak, you can also use the chat function available to post your questions there, please. If no one has any questions or anything like that, I may just continue to ramble on, Sai Ram. So if there is no questions or comments, then I may just pose some questions and ask somebody. So someone asks the question, should we pray to Swami to protect us from the COVID disease? Or should we pray to Swami to eradicate the disease? So as you can see, Swami has told us that we can pray. So the question is, what should be our prayer? Should we ask Swami to save us from COVID disease? Or should we ask him to eradicate the disease?
Sai Ram, this is Nalina Kumar from Edmonton. Arun, may I take a stab at...
Yes, please. Can you speak a little louder, sister?
Okay, sure.
Sister Nalina, can you speak louder?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I wanted to take a stab at what I think. Swami says we need to pray. This is affecting the entire world, every 7.5 billion person on this earth, and the entire animal kingdom, everything. The planet is affected, as you all know. When we pray, somewhere I have read, and I can't give you a source now, but Swami has said, you pray for yourself and the entire world, which includes you. When you say Samasta Loka, you're also part of that Loka, and leave the results to Him. That's kind of what I remember about how we should pray that He has explained. I hope it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else would like to comment on this, please?
Sorry, everyone. Can I speak? Yeah. So I just put in the answer section that that we should pray to Swami to eradicate disease because it's affecting the lives of more than 7 billion people. So we should pray that we should eradicate the disease.
Okay, thank you, Shobala. Anyone else would like to comment or ask a question?
I think like what sister said, sister Nalina said, or Auntie Nalina said, I think we should definitely not ask for anything in specific. We should just pray to Swami, right? And let him do his duty. That's my take on the whole situation. I think we should just pray to Swami that whatever happens is for the good, and we should just leave it up to his hands, so that there is, because at the end of the day we have nothing to control, right? So I think we should just pray to Swami that whatever happens for the best.
Thank you, Rishi. I guess not too many people are speaking. I am going to continue to talk, and you all can interrupt me by unmuting yourself and saying something. We all have the habit of doing Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu after every bhajan. I think we can always ask ourselves the question, is our prayer not on a regular basis, which is done, is it not working? And if it's not, we have to reflect how better we can go about. I'm also reminded of the story of Draupadi. When she was being disrobed in the court of Duryodhana, she's supposed to have cried out. She's supposed to have cried out, "O Dwarakavasi," the one who is residing in Dwaraka, and various names addressed to Krishna. And apparently, only when she, at the end, said, "O Hridayavasi," apparently Krishna is supposed to have heard the prayer. Even then, Krishna is supposed to have pondered whether to help her or not, or to answer her prayer or not. And he said, okay, she's being disrobed. What has she done? What good has she done so that I can go and help her? Thinking thus, apparently Krishna is supposed to have thought back in his life and in his interaction with Draupadi, whether there was any act, any small act which she had done, which could be considered before he could give her his grace. Apparently, Krishna remembered a situation when he had visited the Pandavas while cutting something. Apparently, Krishna had cut his finger and it was bleeding profusely. Everyone around was running to get something to somehow help Krishna's bleeding stop. Draupadi, who was nearby, apparently tore her sari, a small piece from her sari, and bandaged Krishna's finger and stopped it from bleeding. Having noted that that was a good deed which Draupadi had done, Krishna had rushed to the rescue of Draupadi by giving her unlimited length of sari and saved her from ignominy. So as you can see, even for us to do prayers, whatever prayer we ask, even if it was just for ourselves, we may have had to have done something good to protect us so that God can come and help. So I think we should increase the number of good deeds we do to deserve the help from Swami. And I think another point in time, some devotees had asked Swami, as you all know, in 2008, Swami changed Loka Samasta to Samasta Loka, saying that, Swami, the entire, you said just praying for this world itself is not enough. We should pray for all the worlds. Then if that is so, aren't we also praying for the viruses and bacteria which affect us and harm us with disease? For which Swami had said, yes, of course, you are praying for their well-being as well. Because as long as they follow their Loka Dharma and you follow your Loka Dharma, no one will be affected. And so you have a responsibility to follow your own Dharma and let other beings live with their own Dharma. Nothing will happen. The example Swami has given is, if there's a scorpion which will bite, that is its Dharma. Okay, and if you respect its Dharma and leave it alone, it will not bite you. But in the same way, on the other hand, if you go and try to disturb the scorpion, knowing very well that it will bite, it is definitely going to bite. So especially our prayer for the welfare of the entire world includes all organisms which are alive in this world. It is just that we can pray to the Lord to, I guess, help us live our life in such a way that we do not disrupt their dharma and we keep to ourselves and let them live their life. And in this case, viruses, I think the doctors and scientists here will say that the viruses are not living beings, they are just a biomatter or RNA, and they disintegrate, and for them to live, they need a living organism. Those are some of my thoughts. Anyone else would like to comment or say something?
Hi, Ram. I guess my thing would be saying, instead of specifically praying to protect ourselves from a disease or to eradicate the disease worldwide, disease will come and go through Swami's will, whether we like it or not. What we should be praying for is the strength to be able to manage it. We should be praying for the strength for the doctors and the nurses in the hospitals. We should be praying for the sick people to be able to recover. Instead of specifically wishing for something to go away, we should be praying for the strength and the resources to be able to handle it.
Thank you, Meena. I think there's another question which I will read out. Swami is talking about traveling inward, going on the inward path. How can we travel inward is a question which was posed. Can someone here comment on that, please? How do we go inward and how do we travel, take the inward path?
Before going into the questions, Brother Arno, can I comment something on the other one?
Yes,
prior
please.
to this, when it comes to human beings, this devastation is coming to the human beings. We are all asking for help. God, please help us. Please, God, please help us. But when when there was a fire and we lost millions of wild animals in Australia, did we make a single effort to do, any of us? I don't know whether any human beings did make a single effort to do that, any prayers or anything for the well-being of the animals? Because we are considering ourselves as the only creature in the world and in this universe, and then are we ignoring the other ones as they are not God's creations? I am just quite wants to understand that part as well, please. If you could, anybody could give a comment on me on that, please.
Sairam, sisters and brothers, the forum is yours to take and comment.
So, could you please repeat the question again? So we need to better understand what the question is.
So I will try to rephrase the question. Brother Arul, permit me. Brother Arul is saying that there are so many situations in this world where people are suffering. For example, he gave the situation in Australia where there was wild fires in the forest fires. Many animals perished. Did we pray with the same level of intensity during those situations? Is the question from Brother Arul. Am I right, Brother Arul?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. If no one has...
Sai Ram, this is Shivani. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Sister Shivani, please go ahead.
Brother, I mean, maybe not as intensely as we are doing right now. I'm pretty sure that many centers during that time, they prayed as well. But since it's pandemic, it's affecting everyone on this earth. So I think we could hear more that people are praying intensely and, there is more outcry right there. So I believe people did pray that time as well.
Yes, another sister has commented as well on the chat box saying that she knew a few centers which had prayed for the wildfire in Australia, and apparently there was rain just the following week after they prayed. And Sister Nalina Kumar also confirms that the Edmonton Center also prayed specifically. I understand. I think I will pose the question slightly differently from my side. See, the reality is there is death which goes on every day in this world. There are people suffering, and it may be a very sticky point, but there are millions of animals killed every single day or week or few weeks, just for people to consume. If at those points, none of that gets talked about in the news, because it is nothing to do with the human race. Maybe the human race is the virus which is causing problems. So those are things which I think we may have to consider, Brother Arul. But I think we will just stick to the topic at hand, where Swami has, I will talk about what Swami has spoken here. Swami has told his fellow youngsters or kids that we should sing bhajan and we can eradicate the disease. How many of us, I think we all believe in washing our hands frequently will keep us safe from the virus. If we use hand sanitizer with some alcohol content, it will also keep us safe from the disease. How many of us really believe? Means we will do either one of them and we are satisfied that we are safe. How many of us really believe that if we sing a bhajan, chant a couple of names of God, we are equally safe?
Sairam, brother. This is
Yes,
Ananthi Mahindran. I strongly believe that the hand washing with the alcohol, um, it's a safest way according to the scientific proof and the method. But in my personal opinion, even chanting the mantras and all of the belief, spiritual belief and namasmarana and mantras, even much more powerful than the hand washing with the sanitizing products. If we firmly believe that once we were born in this earth, we should ultimately join with the Almighty, and if we firmly believe that the namasmarana or whatever the way you want to merge with the inner self, if you practice, that would be much more powerful than the hand washing and the sanitizing. Even today, in the morning news, they even suspected it could be spread out through the air. So we have no control, even if we wash our hands with alcohol content or any other medicinal product. It is beyond our control. So only one way, if we all believe in Swami or in Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba, in my personal view, that is the ultimate truth in this crisis. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else?
Sairam, brother.
Sairam, sister.
Sairam, brother. I know a few people sent me an audio file, the same one. It's from the Atharva Veda, they said, and this chant is powerful for destroying the virus. And they said, play this in your house to eradicate the virus. And it's called the Simi Samhara Suktam. Have you heard of it? And does that work? Just playing it in a house, will that work? Is it considered a form of namasmarana? Because we don't know how to chant, but just playing it in the house.
Anyone else who would like to comment on this, please? Okay, Saira, maybe if no one else has. Hello?
Sai Ram.
Sairam, Sister Shiva.
This is Shivani. I don't know if it's right and wrong. It's from a little knowledge I have. I believe any kind of good vibration definitely help us internally to deal with this situation. So I don't know if it will eradicate or it will subside what we are going through, but definitely the vibration, those sounds or Veda sounds or bhajan sound help us inwardly uh, to stay calm and stay connected with our Lord. And outwards, washing our hands, it's outward. Being in this world, we are doing our duty, what has been asked by our health professional. So I guess taking his names and uh, playing some chantings would definitely help us internally. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. There are a couple of other sisters who have commented on the text chat box. One sister says that mantra chanting and bhajans change our vibrations within us, and this increases our immunity and makes us less prone to disease. That she knows it from her personal experience. Another sister said, cleanse your soul in addition to cleaning your body. That is the chanting. Another sister, I think, has said, I don't think we should isolate a particular one country. A question, did we pray Australia fire? Think about the animals at the same time. There were so many calamities all over. So I thank you, sisters. Sister Ananthi, you have something to say?
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sister. So I would, I think, Sister Tushi, the question is a very valid one. You know, sometimes what happens is when we are desperate, we grasp at straws. I think ultimately any prayer should be done with full conviction and belief, and then it will definitely have an impact on us. So the thing is, when we have, for example, you have water and soap. If you are washed with water and soap, would you need sanitizers or also? Because if we have confidence in some form of sadhana which we have, I think that should be sufficient, because otherwise what happens is we flit from idea to idea, and that way we will not really have conviction in one of them. This is similar to the story where Swami says, you know, you prayed to Shiva today, and the Shiva doesn't seem to answer my prayer, so put him away and then put Vishnu and then pray to him for a few days. And that doesn't work, then you put it away, and then you put the picture of Mahalakshmi or Shakti and pray. And that doesn't work, then you go to Rama, then you go to Sai Baba. Apparently, Swami tells the story of somebody who was doing this, and all the pictures were going into one cupboard next to the puja room. And one day when he was lighting, I think at that point, which form of God it was, I cannot remember, but he was putting incense sticks, and he found that the smoke from the incense sticks was traveling inside the cupboard where all the other photos of gods were there. So he tried to cover that cupboard so that incense sticks, the smoke from the incense stick doesn't go to that cupboard to all the other forms of God. Apparently at that time God manifested in front of him and asked him what he can do. Then he was shocked because all these days none of them appeared, but today everyone seemed to have appeared. To that, apparently God said, all these days you really didn't have faith, but today you realize that we exist, so that's why we have come. So ultimately, I think it all boils down to the faith we have in whatever sadhana we are doing. For me personally, Sai Ram is more than enough. It's better than any mantra in the world because it allows me to relate to Swami. I can sort of reach with my own feelings in my heart to reach him better with that name, and that name is equally powerful like any other name, whichever is dear to someone. So I think ultimately it all boils down to our connection with the mantra and the way which we pray to that Lord, and that is what will have bring us the real benefit, not mantra by itself. So the feeling with which we do sadhana with that mantra is what really benefits. I think just playing a tape recorder may not do much other than some mental peace for us. Maybe this is it. Those are my points. I think I will stop for others to come in place. Saira.
Thank you, brother. Sairam, got it. Understood, yeah.
Okay, Sairam, I think if no one is talking, then maybe I will continue talking. It's going to be very boring, a monologue from me, but anyone can interrupt at any point in time. Okay, don't wait for me to finish. So here Swami has told his fellow students, go out and sing and eradicate. He said in 3 days, it was all these epidemics were eradicated from the soils of Puttaparthi. So what can we do? I think there are two things we can do. One is ourselves developing more faith in the name, in the bhajan, and singing around our house. That should clean our houses with not only these viruses, but many other viruses, and so on, whether they are airborne or waterborne. But we also tend to go out, either to the grocery store or a walk. I think those are times when we can think of Swami and sing some bhajan even under our breath. Do you think that will have a cleansing effect in the environment around us? Is it something which we can practice? I understand that we cannot go to the centers and congregate in large gatherings, but these are small things which we can do. Maybe we can walk along our streets where we live and sing Swami's bhajans under our breath, or even mentally thinking of him, and walk around, and with that, will the virus around us be cleansed? If we can cultivate that habit, cultivate that faith, would you think that Swami's teachings in this story will be put to practice by us? Because these stories have been told by Swami not for our own entertainment or just read, oh, that sounds great, Swami did some miracle, and then put it away. These are teachings of Swami which we have to put into practice in our own life in whatever limited way we can. And that way, in our own little way, we can help. It's only even there in this Puttaparthi, as you can see, Swami was divine. He could have fixed the problem without even the children singing bhajans. But I think Swami took this as an opportunity to take us inward. I think someone asked, how do we go inward? Going inward is to connect with God. And what Swami did was every opportunity which came his way, he tried to connect everyone to God. So he was helping these children, little children, to connect with God. And through that, and with the joint effort of everyone connecting to God, he was able to accomplish what he set out to do. It is just that children believe without any doubts, unlike adults who reason and confuse themselves and develop more doubts. Children are very easy to influence. They believe in what they hear, and they believed, and I'm sure they've took it to their heart, learned a few bhajans and sang and did what they could. So I think this is an opportunity for us also. But the reality is, for us, this is a big calamity, and everyone is worried. But we all should understand, when Swami took avatar, he took an avatar because there was a big pandemic, which none of us realized, even the world didn't realize. No inhabitants of this world realized. But as Krishna said, when there's dharma is at stake, it's almost about to be extinct. I incarnate age after age. So we should understand that Swami coming down to earth was because of a more serious pandemic which affects this world. And we even till 1 month, 2 months ago, we were not too worried. It means we took it for granted that everything will be fine and we went our way. But Swami came down to inculcate faith in God as the primary thing to sustain this universe. And that pandemic is what he is really concerned about. Even in this selection, Swami says the real viruses which have to be dealt with are the evil qualities of anger and desire. In many of Swami's discourses, Swami has told the external viruses are of no use. They don't have any impact on humanity. A few people may die, a few people may suffer, but most will survive. Even now, we know that only 80%, about 80% of the people will not be touched or even symptomatic from this virus. So the reality is, Swami is more concerned about humanity at large. He wants to root out the viruses of anger and desire. And once that is done, according to Swami, all of us will be safe. I think I'll pause here because no one else is speaking as long as I keep on speaking. So I think we all should think for ourselves. Can we do our bit? Can we, we all listening to the government authorities and the medical authorities are saying, that is believing in the world. Do we have the same belief in Swami? Do we forget him throughout the day? So if we are not going to forget Swami, we should take his instructions to heart. And in our own little way, we can sing bhajans around the house. Each time we sing, wash our hands, maybe we can sing a bhajan. Each time we put sanitizer on our hands, we can sing a bhajan. Each time we walk out of the house and go to grocery store shopping, we can sing a bhajan. In the grocery store, we can think of Swami and walk around and sing bhajans. Maybe we would have done a lot of good in the grocery store. We don't have to do it in groups. We can respect the rule of the law and the request from the government authorities, but within those restrictions, we can still practice and take to heart Swami's teachings. And that way, we are bound to do our real bit as Sai devotees. And Swami will be so happy. It's not only the virus outside will be destroyed, the virus is inside us. The evil qualities also will be destroyed. And that's what I thought I took away from these these words of Swami in this selection too from the discourse of Swami. I will pause here and ask people for questions or comments on whatever I have rambled on. Please, Saira, the floor is yours.
Sairam. Sairam.
Yes, sister,
Yeah.
please go.
For myself, I am taking very positively for this whatever happening around the world. I am happy to accept the way is happening now. These people realize in my home situation, now people realize there is a God, there is a power. But even though they are Sai, they come to Sai centers and everything, but still in the busy world, they don't realize some of the thing. They forgot some of the thing. This point, they come back and, saying as a family, maybe group bhajan and things like that. When they were small, I did. But some of the time, they kind of go to the universities and everything. They don't have time to think about this kind of thing. Now I think time to realize this type of event happen. I think I am taking very positive way. I think this has to happen. Every human being, they have to think the time to think about God also, time to realize what is happening around the world. So much thing. The way you say anger is a big virus. Is everyone, they don't speak softly, they don't speak, the whatever Swami is teaching, the human values, most of them we forgot to follow. You said the bhajan singing. When I start the car, the bhajan started. I practice my bhajan every time when I start the car. When I go to the grocery store, when I come back, I practice the bhajan. Always my God is practicing with me all the time for the bhajan. When I go to the Sai center, I present the bhajan like that. This is the way my life is always happening around myself. I think this is the time we have to realize and we have to follow Swami's teaching. This is my positive way. I am taking very positively. Has to happen. Everyone has to realize. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much.
Sai Ram, this is Shivani. Uh, Coming back to Brother Arun, your point that, this pandemic is, our jealousy, anger is much worse than what we are going through. Just a simple example, went for the grocery store, and in the grocery, sometimes when you bump on each other, you say sorry. And it happened with me when I bump on somebody and I said sorry. She said, don't say sorry, just take care of yourself. And I'm thinking, wow, look at the attitude of people towards each other has changed drastically. You say sorry, people either roll their eyes or just say walk. But now people are saying, don't worry about sorry, just stay safe. And exactly what you're saying, it's kind of stopping us, making us think and see who we are actually. We are human beings, and that love part we forgot because we were so engulfed in our day-to-day life that we forgot our real self. So I believe even at home with family, there's less argument because we said this is not worth. This is really, it's not a big issue what we are discussing. The big issue is out there. Let's not forget that. So there is more peace, more love, I believe, among people getting there, those who really want to realize that. Of course, there are different people, they have different journey. But my take on is, it's as sister and you said, it's stopping all of us to think who we are. What is our true sense of existence?
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to share some thoughts, please?
Saira. So many of us, we talk about eradicating or destroying the virus kind of thing. But I remember Swami mentioning some time back, I don't remember which discourse it is. Swami said, don't try to destroy the other lives that I have created. Basically, our prayers have to be more to protect ourselves so that we don't get affected by their existence. So our prayers should be more towards basically protecting us and the people, human beings who are affected by this virus, rather than praying to destroy. Because Swami said when the bacteria are the soul bacteria basically is part of the 84 million creatures created by Swami, by God. So Swami said actually this will affect the people only when they have done any harm. So the Swami said in that one of the discourses, Swami said the infections and why all this epidemic and everything happens as a karmic effect. And when you have faith in God, the karmic effect doesn't affect you as an individual. So our prayers have to be more towards has to be towards protecting the mankind. If you want to pray that way, the reason is because nowadays there are animal farms basically, and when there's some flu or something happens, that some of the cows are basically dumped in a big pit and they are burnt alive. So that time we are not worried about, we are not talking about it, or we are not praying for it. And then there's something happened, and some of the pigs were put and they were burnt alive. So these are the things happening all over the world because of this virus and the bacteria, whatever it is. But the thing is, those times we are not worried about it. So in my opinion, it's my view that the thing is, this is a karmic effect of the individuals. And the thing is, as long as we have faith in God and faith in Swami, and if we pray to protect ourselves, if Swami will certainly protect us, and that's all we can do, and we cannot do more than that.
Okay, thank you, brother. Anyone else, please? This is supposed to be a study circle, so I think everyone has to share something.
Sorry, everyone. So basically, what I would say is we should pray for everyone because, first of all, we shouldn't think about ourselves. We should think about the whole population of our planet because right now it's affecting every one of us. Right now, like it's affecting this disease is like affecting like the lives of around in 100 around 140 plus countries like right now, and We should think about everyone. We shouldn't think about ourselves. We shouldn't just pray for ourselves. We should pray for everyone and pray that we should eradicate the virus, because right now it's important that, because it's affecting every one of us. It's even affected our sites and activities, which is why we cannot meet for the next month. So we should pray for everyone. And even right now in Prashanti, they can't even do events right now because of especially because of coronavirus.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam,
Yes, I
I want to say by the sister who talked before, like saying Samasta Loga Sudhina Bhavantu applies to everybody, all the beings, this world, all the worlds. By doing this, we are all praying individually and collectively, and all the animals and everything. And Swami also follow the protocol, because we have to follow the protocol of the government. And all these disasters, we went all the time, we do seva. One is a seva right now is staying at home. That is also seva. By staying home, we are protecting ourselves and we are protecting others, and we are doing a big favor to the healthcare, the workers, all the nurses, to doctors, to the patients. So, and while we are praying, every single day, me and my girls pray about 15-20 minutes, just allocated this time for world. So by doing this, we are purifying our Atma, plus we are giving a vibration to not only to my house, to the neighbors, to the outer world. So I think this is one way, and I really appreciate giving this disaster by thanking gratitude, whatever Swami has bestowed on us. And now I really value, like all the brothers and sisters saying, now I really value everything what God has given to us, from nature, from paper towel to or anything, from the food to the even to the animals, to the people, to the loved ones. I really appreciate this disaster by gratitude by Swami is uh, giving us this realization. So that's all I want to share. Sairam.
thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much. There are a couple of sisters who have commented on the chat box. I will just read out. The story Swami has demonstrated to the children through the rituals and crossing the limits of the village to have faith in God. And once their faith was established, it took only 3 days to eradicate the disease. Another brother who has commented, it looks like the coronavirus has spared animals. It is mostly after human beings. It's a question. Yeah, I think, sometimes what happens is in life, in our personal lives as well as, when something doesn't go the way we want things to go, we right away tell God, this situation is not good for us. Please change it. We never ask God, you have given me this lesson. What is there for me to learn? Please let me learn from this and become a better human being. Because nothing in this world, including pandemics, are divinely designed. It is not out of his that he was not focusing on looking after the world that these things have happened. We should know that God is all knowing and all powerful, and he will only design something to happen out of his own will. Now we are questioning his own will and his own design. I think we have to do is, how can we better deal with it? How can we improve ourselves? And I think, as a couple of sisters and brothers have already pointed out, these opportunities for us to learn, as everyone in this universe will be a better person after this experience. So I think when there are problems, we want God to take away the problem. But he will say the problem was the solution for your problem, the original problem. I think which we don't take that way. I think we think we are unable to, we are not so comfortable. It's a bit so inconvenient. Maybe our income is going to be affected a bit. These are things which bother us so much. Whereas God will say, I want you to learn something better from this. That is the reason I have designed this to be. And I think Another sister has commented, to be fair, animals' biggest disease is human beings. It is true that human beings have almost taken over the entire surface of the earth. They don't spare anyone, from the seas, the rivers, everywhere, the forests. We are destroying and plundering the earth. So the Mother Earth has to fix the problem somehow. Who knows how she does it? So it is. I don't think we should think that God has been oblivious to us, and now we have to pray to Him, fix the problem, take away the disease. He will say, learn what you have to learn from this situation and improve yourself. And if you can do something good, contribute. It can be prayers, it can be positive feelings. We can help our people who are in need. And I think every opportunity, every setback is an opportunity. I think that's the way we should take it. We should almost embrace the situation, adapt to the situation, and bring out the best in us by going inward and connecting with God and saying, God, what can I do in this situation? Please tell me, so that we can come out of it better. In many situations in the world, for example, Mahabharata war was raging. People thought, Krishna, you could have fixed the problem. There's no need for war. He told Arjuna, it is your job to fight. Then Arjuna was telling Krishna, people should not die. He says, all this time you didn't bother about it, and now you are worrying about it because they are your relatives. That is not the right way to look at the war. You fight the war thinking that you are fighting for dharma. Take Sita. Sita had to be rescued from Lanka, but Rama could have just jumped up and brought Sita back, or wished that Sita was back, and it would have happened. But everyone had to go through. The Vanaras had to sing the name of Rama and build the bridge and go all the way and rescue Sita. In that process, everyone involved in the process evolved into a higher person. So I think that's the way things are designed by God, and it is not something which we expected. It's so unexpected that we start cribbing about it. And I think things will run their course. It's just like having a flu; you are stuck for 7 days because there's no medicine which can help you get out of it. So we have to go through the course, and God will take care of. We should not worry that humanity is going to be erased from the surface of Earth. So we have to do our part to keep the society flowing. We need to accept the challenges which have come our way as positively as possible, as His own prasadam, His own grace. See, His grace is that so that we will become better people. I think that is the purpose of everything which we encounter in life. There's a sister who has put a comment. I'll read out. Actually, it apparently was created in a lab near the market. Animals do not transmit the virus and are not affected by it. Lovely summary. See, the thing is, there are many theories of how this disease was, whether it was in a lab, whether it was biological warfare, whether it came from this country or that country. There are many theories. The reality is, whatever people are attempting to do, they cannot even come to fruition if God is letting it happen. If God wants to stop, if anyone wants to do any harm to anyone in this world, it can be stopped by Him. But God would like to use every opportunity that all human beings face are such that these experiences will make them better people, better human beings. Whether we realize it or not, at the end of this epidemic or pandemic, every human being would have changed in some way for the better. That is the reality, and I think we need to remind ourselves. That is why Swami is telling these children in his village, don't worry about the disease, but worry about see. Let us go around the village, chant the name of Ranga, donning ochre robes and anklets, playing the cymbals in our hands, and getting rid of the evil qualities of anger and desire. Because Swami was more focused on that. It is just that these kids came to learn bhajans because of these plagues. And this group which Swami formed was called Pandari Bhajan Mandali, and whenever any of the villages, surrounding villages, had any problems, they used to be invited to come to their village and sing and eradicate it. And that is how Swami's movement of bhajan spread, because many of the people didn't believe in God and they didn't believe in Swami. He was not that at that age. Swami had not even declared that he was an avatar. But during that period, Swami he planted the seeds of devotion and faith in the name of God in everyone in those small villages, among the illiterate people, among the children. And that is how that movement grew into a worldwide movement today. So if we can learn something from this, we should embrace the situation in which we are, accept it for it is. It is tiresome, it is troublesome, it's scary for many of us. It's okay, but we need to accept it, embrace it, and we need to go inwards, reach out to God, and with His name, with our love for Him, be able to channel that energy within us, around us, everywhere we move around. And we should be able to spread that energy of Swami, which we carry in our heart, to spread and eradicate disease, suffering, not only disease and suffering, but also the viruses which are infected every human heart in this world. Those are some of my comments. I'm sorry I took up so much time. Others, we have about 5-10 minutes. Any passing comments, please? Please go ahead. There are 2 comments I will read out. One sister has said, Sairam brother, well said, we have to adapt to the situation and do our duty following regulations and with our faith on Swami, or increasing our faith in Swami during such time. We can bring the goodness in the tough time for all. Second brother has commented, our ego is getting destroyed and human values are becoming important. Another brother has said, human values are important. These were some comments from some of the members. Please, anyone else, please take to the mic and say something.
So, Sairam,
Saira.
I'm reminded of one of the times actually Swami was saying, one of the students had a high fever, and Swami said that boy had taken Panadol. That Swami had explained that relating to God's grace. Swami said, when you have a fever and when you take Tylenol or Panadol in India, so what happens is the fever is not going away from you. Fever is there, but you don't feel the fever because of the Tylenol or the paracetamol. In the same way, Swami said, God's grace is similar to that. Where you might go through the problem and the problem might exist, but God's grace will act as a Panadol or Tylenol and make you not feel the fever. So in the same way here, our prayers and God's grace will come in response to our prayers and act as a Tylenol or paracetamol and not make us feel the fever or feel the virus infections, and will protect us it will act as a protection rather than make us suffer. So the thing is, it's best for us to continue the prayers. The other one most basic I want to mention is Swami said, when you do the prayers for ourselves and when you chant the prayers have the power. So therefore, Swami said, do the prayers so that prayer will surround cover the environment and purify the environment and protect everyone within that environment. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. Sister Meena, you have something to say?
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, then.
Sairam. Yeah, Sairam, I would like to thank you, Arun. I really enjoyed the study circle this week and last week. I'd like to thank Swami to realize giving this kind of problem and stay home and participate in study circle also, and every human to realize this kind of thing comes and they kind of, everything freeze and we had to realize God is there. I'd like to thank you to Swami. This kind of problem comes and realizing God. I am very happy to accept and And thank you for the study cycle too. Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Thank you.
I want to add a point here. Like after the Mahabharata war, like Krishna asked Kundi, what would you like to have? Kundi said, Swami, Krishna, always give me difficulties. Because at the time of difficulties only we are thinking of God. See, today's this forum, we can see a lot of people are realizing that. Now we are talking about God. How can we pray? What are the mode of prayer and all kind of things we are talking about. So this is some like as you all mentioned, this is some sort of Swami's gift to us. I would say, like we have to take it as it is and then overcome these challenges, because the human these millions of years these human creations are, and they went through these evolutions, so many years of evolution. So this is one of those evolutions that definitely this human will overcome. I think Swami has a plan to have a better world rather than the previous one. That current world that we are going through, he wants to have a better world and with better people in this world. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Your last 5 minutes left. Any takers, please?
Sairam.
Sairam, sister.
For me, this whole pandemic has given me the gift of time, because most of the time I'm now at home or working from home. And before, I used to always think I didn't have the time for meditation or for extensive prayer or for anything in terms of self-improvement. And I think for a lot of us, we now have a lot of time where we might have made excuses before. Now there is time to look inward or go inward for self-improvement. So for me, this gift really has been time to be able to do things that either make me both spiritually and physically healthier. Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Sister Vasta?
Hello,
Yes, sister.
can you hear me?
Yes, please go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, thank you. It's a very good session. I was only able to join around 4 o'clock because I couldn't get the link started. Anyhow, it's very worth to listen to all of you all. Thank you very much, and truly thank you for your time and explaining many good things to us. And we all keep together with our prayers and be positive to each other and pass positive messages to each other at this very challenging times. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister.
Well, Sairam, I just wanted to add one other thing. I guess one thing that I learned from this whole pandemic situation is that sometimes I always kind of take for granted having the center as a place that always feels very holy and spiritual, and I used to feel that I enjoy going to the center, and I need that in my life so that I can feel that connection with Swami, or that feeling of peace. But I guess in this time, I think one thing that it has forced me to do is to create that sort of atmosphere at home, or find a way to create that atmosphere within myself. So I think it has helped so that, I'm not relying on something external, and then you can try to focus on it, developing that sense of holiness wherever you are, whatever you're doing.
Thank you, sister. One more person can say something, please.
Sairam, brother, as a closing point, maybe only 2 minutes, I would like to indicate that Swami has told over and over several times in the past, maybe 2 or 3 decades, that how important the vegetarianism. Now the whole world is realizing the importance of the vegetarianism, and even in the originating country of this COVID-19, they are encouraging the people to be vegetarian, and every my daughter is on a work assignment in China, and she's telling that every day online they are asking all the people that whoever they know the how to make the vegetarian meals, make it and put it in online to other people to learn. So Swami has well ahead set, 25 or 30 years ago how important the vegetarianism. Now we realize, the whole world realize how much important to be a vegetarian in this life. Thank you, and Saira.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, everyone. Because we are running out of time. We have 1 minute left. Many of you have thanked on the chat message. We have brothers and sisters joined from Edmonton, Saskatoon, and so on. It was wonderful to have you all. I think this became an opportunity for us all to get together and discuss and be thinking of Swami. Thank you all for this wonderful session and the energy which you have contributed to this study circle. And looking forward to meeting you next Sunday as well. Thank you very much. Jai Sai Ram. We will close with Samasta Loka and Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samasta Loka Samasta Loka Sukhino
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Brothers and sisters, we are going to post this recording to the YouTube channel, and we'll circulate the link for those who could not be present for the whole session, and for those who would like to listen back later on. Thank you very much. Sai Ram, and we'll see you next week. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
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 Sai Ram.
Sir, have a good day.